Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world, global here. Uh, so, I decided to make a part two video for multiple reasons. First and foremost, there's now a new announcement from New Orleans in regards to the predecessor post David Griffin termination. Uh, Longtime NBA Royal Hall of Famer and legend Joe Dumars. You might remember he's part of uh, he is the architect of the '04 Pistons, along with Scott Perry, who helped do the groundbreaking work for the New York Knicks in order for them to furnish the roster they have today. He was post Phil Jackson, and he did an excellent job. Um, Joe Dumars is first and foremost someone who made one of the greatest midseason, probably the greatest midseason acquisition in NBA history, acquiring Rasheed Wallace. He was the perfect complementary piece and the final piece they needed to go on their championship run. Um, a lot of people want to point out the Darko Milicic pick, but if you knew at the time how valuable big men were and how up there in years Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace kind of were, uh, you would understand why, if you have a chance to get a southpaw 7-footer who's capable of spacing the floor, playing defense, etc., you would probably bite as well and take a chance, because if he did blossom into what they thought he was going to be, it would have been a major, major letdown. Back in the day, finding skilled 7-footers was just not possible, and especially one who could potentially knock a jump shot down. Now, obviously, he was berated under the Larry Brown regime, and he never materialized to what they hoped for. But it was a good luck of the draw when you already had Tyshawn Prince and Rip Hamilton. Yes, it was the same draft of LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, D Wade, but ultimately, um, Rip was what he was. Tyshawn Prince was a very rare player who still remains underrated in NBA history and doesn't get mentioned up enough. I always hear people say he should have went. They should have went Melo. They should have went Melo. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I had to pick, I'm picking D Wade. By the way, I'm not putting a guy like Tyshawn Prince, rim protector, knockdown 3-point shooter, can post you up, guard 1 through 4, southpaw. You just don't find guy point forward skills. Always knew where to be on the court, spacing wise. Rare 4-year player who did everything he was supposed to do. It just no, bro. If I'm getting Dwayne Wade and the Pistons are going 82-0, and you can put Rip Hamilton on the bench, because I remember how hard it was for Rip to just get 20 points, and so if you're getting a guy in D Wade who can get 30 in his sleep with a stretch big like Rasheed, listen, you know that team goes down with the they go down with some of the Lakers and Celtics teams. But and then don't get me wrong, there was some poor free agent allocation of finances with respect to Charlie Villanueva and Ben Gordon, a UConn legend. I hope he's doing all well. I know he's battled some mental health concerns post NBA career. Last I checked. Um, but uh, I think where New Orleans is going next, and it kind of was where I let the video end last night or yesterday morning, excuse me, where this is obviously about the franchise guy. David Griffin, like I said, he did an A-plus job. There's a guy named Bryson Graham, someone informed me yesterday, which is great, why you should always engage people and post topics that are a concern to you, because you never know who might reply. And they brought me up to speed on there's a GM by the name of Bryson Graham from the Dell Demps administration. Yes, the same Dell Demps who was struggling with getting Anthony Davis traded. Uh, but this Bryson guy, Graham gentleman, is extremely brilliant, and he really is the scout who discovered uh, these draft picks that I named off to you. Herb Jones, 35, ended up being second team all defense. Trey Murphy, who's now on a max contract, $100 million contract, and made the Pelicans feel comfortable moving off of Brandon Ingram, which is the one of the major knocks I think that are being expressed in what was the demise of David Griffin was the lack of package in return. But I actually think Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown, who I know for a fact the Denver Nuggets wish they had right now, would make a great would be suffice for in terms of great depth on a championship contender, which the Pelicans are when healthy. You can mock it all you want, and I didn't even mention Yves Messi was phenomenal this year. He's shown an ability to space the floor. He can knock down an open shot. He's out of this world athletic. I mean, he's him, Kyle Weir. This was a great draft of bigs, and I kept trying to tell people since last year. I don't know what they're talking about. You got some guys you can really build around on this draft. Is it David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon? I don't know, maybe not, but these guys can contribute to a championship and actually can be key cogs in the starting lineup. And you're seeing Reed Shepard. You're seeing a lot of guys in this year's draft who just didn't really get the full shine that they needed, full opportunity. Even some of the 23 class, the league is in need of expansion. That's for another day. Who knows? Maybe David Griffin will get one of those franchises when they do expand, because it's been a long while since Joe Dumars has been out of commission. And you see now he is home. He's been rumored to be the Pelicans GM for a long time. He's a Louisiana native. I think some of this is damage control from the Pelicans. They don't want a Dallas Mavericks situation where Luka gets traded, but I don't think there was enough equity built between Zion and the New Orleans Pelicans community for them to have that level of attachment. But they are a little shaky on attendance. They don't have the funds that the Mavericks have, or the resources, quite frankly. So I don't think they can afford to lose fans if he gets traded. But again, I don't think there's enough of a marriage there and continuity between the two for it to be a concern. If anything, there'll be some anxiousness. I've already listed players that I think could be in collaboration for the trade. But Joe Dumars, according to reports today, is strictly brought in to move Zion, and they wanted someone else. And in that way, I can agree that it is kind of weird. You make him basically trade AD, you get back Zion, and now you want him to trade out Zion. I think Griff might have pushed back a little bit and thought, no, let's just stay, like I said, stick to his guns, and let's try to, run it back next year. And the Pelicans said, we need to just change the energy and the mojo in here, so we're going to do something different. And again, Griffin did a phenomenal job. You got to realize what you have to work with. You're asking someone to work a miracle, and he's done many of it, and he's done many of them. Excuse me, and to the point where they had too much depth, and Brandon Ingram still hasn't, I don't think, dressed for the Raptors quite yet, or hasn't played a lot of games at least. Nothing worth headline mentioning, but at the end of the day, I'm sure Griff got a buyout contract, real nice amount of money, and they're in good hands with their GM, Bryson Graham. One thing I'll say, prior to the Pelicans job, Joe Dumars was in some type of front executive capacity with the NBA, competition committee type thing, vice president type of thing, where vice president of operations, where he would call teams to make sure that they're not tanking and to make sure that the integrity of the game is being held. So I don't think the Pelicans are looking to just tear this team down completely. The return package will be requiring more than just a draft pick, but actually someone who can fill the void, if that helps at all. I don't think he's there to do another rebuild. I think they're pretty much are what they are, but this is a big time deal, and they needed someone else to do it, seeing how Griff was the one who made the acquisition like he was supposed to, who passes up on Zion. No one's even close in the recent memory, including Flag. So it makes sense at the end of the day. Good luck to all parties. Something tells me this isn't the last of David Griffin. Kudos to you. Enjoy life, and I hope he's in, and it becomes and he's able to stop and smell the roses. Outside of that, we'll see how New Orleans goes moving forward. I hope I did an okay job, Utopians. I'll try to do better next time. Global out.